What's up, guys? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks so much for being here and for being subscribed. If you're not, go ahead and hit that button. And if you're listening to this on YouTube, hit that like button. It's like walking into the room and hitting that light switch. We just want to go ahead and brighten up the place. Let's get into this conversation/reality chat. All right, guys, I was going to talk about this actually over a week ago, and it was just based on my thoughts further of the interview that NeNe did, which Carlos King released, so two-part, and a lot of the things that she shared with regards to the other housewives and who deserved to still be on the show, who didn't. And I'll be honest with you, I feel like there were a number of contradictions that she shared. I'm not saying that I don't want her to win or anything like that. I am not a NeNe hater, but people are going to feel how they want to feel. But listen, this is what I want to say just based on overall the things that she shared in the interview, and then also the things that were talked about and shared pre-interview in terms of her talking about she'd welcome the opportunity to come back to the Housewives. She and Andy need to have a discussion. One of the videos that was more recent, not long before the interviews were released on Carlos King's platform, where someone asked her about coming back to the Housewives, and she said she would do it, but it would only be for the fans. And it's like, girl, stop lying. Like, you know what I mean? You want to come back because it was a really great check. It was a really great opportunity, and you sort of bit the hand that fed you. And I'm not saying that there were not some things that were going on at the network that were either not cool, not fair, or maybe even some systemic racism that may have been happening. Listen, that's the country we live in. I'm not saying that it is okay, but I definitely do not deny that it exists. I'm not Tim Scott, okay? Systemic racism is real. And yeah, there are people that don't look like NeNe that get opportunities that she may feel she deserves to get. But that's unfortunately the society and the country that we dwell in. And sometimes you just have to make opportunities for yourself out of the opportunities that you already had. It's like that old saying goes, making $1 out of 15 cents, making the most out of your 15 minutes of fame, because they're saying that almost everyone gets at least that 15 minutes. Some people, they stretch it out. They make it last so much longer than people either assumed that it would, thought that it would, or even feel like they deserved that it would. But say what you want to say about Kandi. I'm not saying that she deserves to get all of the opportunities that she has gotten, but a lot of the things that she has gotten is because she is a hustler. And I feel that unfortunately, NeNe is more of a person looking for a handout versus making things work for herself. And I'm going to tell you one of the reasons why I believe that, because it was solidified after an article that came out before I even had the idea to create commentary around this title for this video that I created, this podcast I created, I should say. Is NeNe a hustler or looking for a handout? Well, the story is from the Atlanta Black Star, and it says that Neneleakes is being slammed by fans for her response to an unpaid debt that she and her late husband greggleakes incurred for her now defunct swaggboutique. Those criticizing the reality star have especially taken notice of her insensitive quip about a lawsuit seeking to collect $22,900 from her, which in the grand scheme of things, guys, is not a whole lot of money. Listen, I don't know what NeNe's bank account is looking like. I don't know what her assets are, being claimed to this date. And it really isn't any of my business, but this story is out there. And if you remember, prior to this, actually prior to greggleakes, unfortunately, going on to the other side, there was a story about people who were not paid that worked for her at the swag boutiques and how they were just closed without much notice to the employees who were working there. Anyway, the filing states that the businessman signed a lease for the clothing store located in Sugarloaf Mills Shopping Center in 2017. An additional year was tacked on to the lease in 2021. TMZ reports, but the shop shuttered its doors not long after the pandemic. Reportedly, she vacated the premises in January 2022. The landlord is now seeking to collect the unpaid rent and attorney fees from the former Real Housewives of Atlanta star. In July, NeNe, 55, was notified via letter that she was on the hook for the payment. As word of the ongoing legal battle circulated on social media, NeNe responded to a blog post with "Greg signed the lease, not me!" ! He ain't here. Her remarks struck a nerve with fans who proceeded to call her out for her callousness and perceived attempt to get out of shelling out the thousands. "NeNe, you're in charge of Greg's estate, so you still have to pay the bill," wrote one person. Another one said, "This is gross. That's her store and her late husband, and she's the beneficiary of his estate. She never takes responsibility for her actions, and that's why she's where she is today," commented someone else. Someone else says, "So basically she's blaming a deceased man? That's why she never wins." Someone else remarked, "This response just shows a lack of character and integrity. It was her store and she's Greg's widow/heir. Do the right thing and pay the bill." And so the reality star and Greg, they were married for 14 years when they divorced in 2011. Nearly 2 years later, they were engaged and tied the knot for a second time in 2013. In 2018, the business consultant revealed he had stage 3 colon cancer after being in remission for 2 years. The 66-year-old passed away at the couple's Atlanta home with his loved ones, including their sons Bryson and Brent, by his side on September 1st, 2021. NeNe paid tribute to her longtime love on what would have been his 68th birthday on August 16th. Since Greg's passing, she has been romantically linked to fashion designer Yoni Selasio. But last month, she confirmed they were on a break as she ushered in her next era of life, which she is calling her soft life. Listen, I'm just saying, it's questionable as to why she had Greg sign the lease when it was her store. I don't have the documentation, so I can't see the paperwork to see if he was a part of her LLC or whatever the case may be. But it is questionable as to why the lease would be in Greg's name and not hers when it was actually her store. I have been in business for a number of years now. Well over a decade, but I have never had any of my business leases in my husband's name. It's my business. My business is my business. My husband is not a part of it. I never heard her say that Greg was a part of her business. I'm quite sure they had their reasons as to why they had her to not be on the lease and him. Maybe it was a credit. I don't know. But at either rate, if she is the beneficiary of his estate, then I'm quite sure they know what they're doing by coming at her to pay the debt. So for her to just say his name is on the lease and not and not hers, it's like, girl, you're out here claiming that you're living your best life, but also wanting to call some people starless and they don't have the flavor and why are they on TV and whatever, but you're not out here hustling. You're looking for a handout, in my personal opinion, because out of what she had done, it seems like she could have done a whole lot more to create opportunities for herself, even if it was not going to be where she really wanted it to be at that moment. It could have been something to spur other opportunities, because she was on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. She was on Celebrity Apprentice. She was on Glee. She had the show The New Normal, which was another production by, what's his name, Ryan Murphy. And then she's no longer on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. She claimed that they blackballed her. No one else wanted to work with her. But she was on College Hill Celebrity Edition, which I did not watch. But again, all of these things that she had been on are things that other people have created, produced, and she was just a ensemble of the cast of these opportunities. She needs to hustle and stop looking for a handout. And sometimes the handouts are in terms of a job that you are looking to have given to you versus being a boss, becoming an entrepreneur, and creating your own opportunities. Because if you just have this mentality that everyone's out here to get you, nobody likes you, nobody wants to help you, then you're going to stay in that state of not doing anything else and just being the consummate victim. You cannot be in that state if you really want to win, if you feel like so many people have come against you, because there are some people out there that are going to be for you. Obviously, Carlos King is one of them. Obviously. And I'm not saying that he has much pull, because to be honest with you, the way it looks sometimes to me, it's almost looking like he's trying to get back on the Real Housewives. You know what I mean? Just saying, that's the way it looks sometimes. I could be wrong. I know he has his Kingdom Reign productions and his own reality shows that he has produced, but the way he speaks about the Real Housewives of Atlanta and some of the other housewives and constantly interviewing these people who have been on the Housewives, it's almost looking like he's looking to get back on. Looking like he wants to get back into their good graces in some way, shape, or form. And I'm just saying, it just looks that way. But that's why some people are just calling NeNe out, and they're saying, girl, take responsibility. Just take care of the debt. Work out a payment plan with them. Your business was there. I'm quite sure Greg was in there working. So why did the lease even get put in his name? You guys can let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comment section, because I'm just wondering. But yeah, what do you think? Do you think NeNe is a hustler, or is she not a hustler and she's just looking for a handout? Let me know. Thank you so much for being here, for liking and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until the next time, I wanted to keep it brief, beautiful. And now I'm going to say bye.